Let's get one thing straight. This is my gig. You want your share? We play by my rules.
Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is factually the most overlooked game in the franchise. What started as a DLC for Uncharted 4 turned into a standalone title featuring fan-favorite character Chloe Frazer as the protagonist. Sadly, the game has sold less than 2 million copies, which is the lowest of the mainline Uncharted games. It is understandable considering it is the first game without its protagonist Nathan Drake, who I think is the face of the franchise. But I still really loved it and got the Platinum Trophy on both versions of the game. And this is also the game that I go back to whenever I have the hankering to play some Uncharted. Let me explain why throughout this video.
So that's a no. Felt like a no.
The game commences in this bustling and enchanting bazaar area in India, where we see Chloe sneakily scoping the ongoing resurgent activity. The game also introduces a new character named Meenu, this clever child who is a clothes seller in the market.
Interesting.
We explored a bit more of the bazaar and immediately I'm hooked. I'm from Bangladesh, a neighboring country to India, which shares very similar cultures and locales to theirs. Hence, I find this setting so relatable and it is rarely seen in games. Just watching the lively crowd around, food stalls, women roaming around in saris, it felt like home. I also want to point out this new collectible type, and that is the photo ops, which is probably the most interesting out of them all. It is a cool new addition. Chloe then successfully sneaks inside a rebel convoy helped by Meenu, and this prologue ends with this mesmerizing shot of the city that details out just how well realized it is. We then make our way into this very populated active war zone with a photo message signaling us to make it to a red door. We explore these very narrow and tight streets, and the game lets you take in the struggle and the distress of the people because of the ongoing civil war. It is again incredibly well realized with very dark and gritty natural and artificial lighting. This entire area is dictated by the insurgents who are harassing the innocent people living here. That extends as we see Chloe being harassed by an Asav insurgent. We then make it to the red door and the game introduces another new gameplay mechanic, and that is picklocking. As we make our way to the rooftop, and just look at this, how well Naughty Dog has captured this feeling of being in an active war zone. You actually feel unsafe here. Suddenly, the insurgent that harassed Chloe catches her as a confrontation ensues. I've said this in my Uncharted 4 retrospective. The dodge mechanic from Uncharted 3 is a glaring omission in both Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. The melee here is very smooth and cinematic, but you have little to no control over it. One of the enemies tries to grapple Chloe to death, but she survives as Nadine Ross intervenes. Nadine is a very weird inclusion in this game, I must say. Not because I don't like her, I think she's a great character, as I said in my Uncharted 4 video as well, but I can name other characters who fit this role better. But I was hooked when I saw the interaction between them, the dissension between Chloe's carelessness without thinking of the consequences and Nadine's by-the-book professionalism. Adds this immersion for me to the story, something we rarely saw in this franchise.
I thought you were a professional. Oh, you should relax. You'll live longer.
Then the game lets us do what we know and love Uncharted for. We climb, jump, traverse, and scale this neon-soaked madness. The rain droplets on the roof of these buildings to the neon billboards that you can climb, it looks and feels amazing. And one thing that feels different here is the movement of the character. I always say this about Naughty Dog games. The way their character moves is something else, and I like how Chloe moves. She feels faster and more agile in comparison to Nathan Drake, and that is fitting. We then make our way to Asaf's office as we rummage through the artifacts he has collected over the years, and then find the disc we have been looking for. The disc that will help us track down the Tusk of Ganesh, a legendary artifact we are after in this particular game.
What a pleasant surprise.
We were then immediately confronted by Asav and his men, and we see Chloe selling her out to help Asav, which is so Chloe Frazer, by the way. She's more about fattening her pocket than the thrill of adventure that Nathan Drake looks for.
My rates are reasonable.
Asav orders his men to kill Chloe and Nadine as we jump off the building, and what follows is one of those incredible set pieces that this franchise specializes in. We jump from rooftops to rooftops in this cyberpunk-like setting as we make a narrow escape in this heavy rainfall. In the next scene, we saw this beautiful cutscene in a boat where Chloe figures out the disc and states that if they go after the three symbols, which are Ganesh's trident, Parashurama's bow, and Shiva's axe, that would eventually lead them to the Tusk.
I bet we find these symbols. We find the Tusk.
Again, very interestingly, the game infused Hindu mythologies in our hunt for the Tusk of Ganesh, adding more depth to it. We then make our way to the mountains of Western Ghats in the Indian peninsula in search of these symbols. Similar to Madagascar from Uncharted 4, this is another one of those semi-open world sections that Naughty Dog has been doing in recent years. It lets you drive a jeep around these exotic locales with greenery everywhere. They added a lot more colors to this location with many variations of colorful flowers. My floral knowledge is very weak, I apologize. It looks so beautiful with amazing Hindu stonework to the structures, alluring flamingos and other colorful birds just flying about. A lot of waterfalls as well, leading to flooded terrains. I loved exploring the Western Ghats with the car. Driving in the Uncharted games is truly something special. The tires are made out of butters. It is so smooth and responsive. This open-ended section allows for a lot of possibilities, something I did back in 2017, but I did not do it in this particular playthrough. First, of course, there are a lot of treasures to find, but the most interesting one is the Hoysala tokens. Finding these Hoysala tokens involve puzzles, very fun enemy encounters, and it really just makes you see everything this open world has to offer. I really appreciate the love and thought behind it. This is heaven for completionists like us. Of course, many people would just want the story, so your first course of action here is climb the tallest tower in the middle of this map and open these window-like things to jot down the important point of interest to find the three symbols. The three symbols are sprinkled in 3 different areas of the map. Upon completing them, it will open this large door. Before we go after the first symbol, just look at this vista.
Wow!
Mind-blowing. Let's move on. You can of course tackle these symbols whichever order you like. I started with Shiva's axe, which commences with some climbing and scaling and then 3 consecutive puzzles. I'm personally not smart enough to solve most of the puzzles in this franchise, but these are my favorite ones. It is so immersive and cleverly done. I love it. After these puzzles, we complete this mechanism with Shiva's axe that activates water flow to the door. What I like the most here is the conversation between Chloe and Nadine. After each of these puzzles, we get to learn more of these characters' motivations and past, how they both have father issues, their failures of the past that taints their present, how we learn that Chloe plays around with this small Ganesh idol as a stress toy.
Alright, what the hell is that thing you keep playing with?
It's my stress toy.
Or how Nadine feels defeated as Shoreline failed under her surveillance.
It was on my watch. I lost it on my watch.
These are sides of their story that we never heard, and these nuances fleshes out these characters. On our way to the next symbol, I came across this Hoysala token area, and I want to touch on the climbing. I've said this in my Uncharted 4 video as well, how unrealistic and superhumanly it has become. Chloe is straight up Spider-Man here. Look at this. Even though it's fun, it takes my immersion out. So the next symbol in Parashurama's bow, which starts off with some climbing of mountains and then encounters against Asaf's men. And of course, it's awesome, it's smooth. How it promotes you to move around the level and take each and one of them down, it's satisfying to play. And I also want to shout out the pick locking system, how it rewards you with amazing weapons. They have really gamified this franchise with these last 2 games, and I welcome that. So after the encounter, we complete the mechanism of the bow and we make our way to the final symbol, and that is Ganesh's trident. This is another long encounter against Asaf's men, and again, great level design, as I ran around the level and took them down. We then complete the final mechanism, which should open the large door as we make our way to that in our jeep.
Magnificent.
Inside the gate, we come across 2 giant and breathtaking statues with beautiful waterfalls flowing in the middle. It is fair to say at this point in the story that the whole Western Ghats chapter was very light on narrative and the story has to pick up some pace. So we follow the statues by exploring and traversing Halebidu. This is a very long gameplay sequence as we climb ledges, jump from platforms to platforms, swing across platforms, and eventually climb the giant statues. As fun as it is to traverse in this game, I have to criticize again how premeditated some of the jumps can feel. And don't forget, you are Spider-Man at Tusk. It feels very unrealistic, something that started with Uncharted 4, which they need to improve whenever they make another one of these. We then climb down using our rope and come across another pair of giant statues, and these are a sight to behold. Another shout out to the photo ops, how it is infused within the story, making this the most interesting collectible in the franchise. We continue our journey and come across this room filled with corpses, bones and stuff. It is presumed to be the aftermath of the war between the people of Halebidu and the Persians. Then the game welcomes us to one of the trickiest puzzles in the franchise, and I don't even want to recall when I did this back in 2017 for the trophy. The shadow puzzle opens the door to the mechanism where our Ganesh disc turns into Shiva.
What the Shiva?
This is where Chloe breaks down how the king of Halebidu created this spectacular city as a decoy to deceive the Persians from reaching Belor, the forgotten old capital where our Tusk most likely is. This mechanism makes the platform fall apart, and it activates this cool set piece in these moving ruins as we escape. Here we had a calm moment and this conversation between Chloe and Nadine, which to me felt unearned. I don't feel we had enough development at this point in the story for them to have this niceness between each other.
Nice work, partner.
Nice work.
Put it there. Jesus! What was that? I'm really embarrassed for you right now.
We continue our journey, this time following the aqueducts and another awesome encounter against Asaf's army with an armored cur following us. As we take them down, sliding and running around, it is so awesome to play. Then we have this confrontation with Asaf, and I want to say I like how well he's voice acted, just like everyone else in this franchise.
It's impressive.
He has this Gustavo Fring from Breaking Bad vibes to him, very subtle and eerie yet dangerous. What follows is a boss fight against Asaf, which again, I don't like. I don't think this franchise should have boss fights except for the one with Rafe in Uncharted 4. It is uninspired and janky. It reaches a point where Asaf throws us into the aqueducts and Chloe injures herself and loses consciousness. Chloe wakes up after a while and we make our way back to the gate where a giant statue of Shiva's gatekeeper has erupted. Then the game presents another surprise to us, and it is Sam Drake who is working with Chloe in this hunt, playing both sides. This presumably creates a conflict between Chloe and Nadine as she lives in anger with the Jeep. We then follow Nadine on foot and just look at the lighting and the weather here. It looks fantastic with muds and puddles because of the rain, just breathtaking. This is also home to another encounter against Asaf's army as we take down an APC, looking for explosives around the structures and eventually destroying it. We then meet up with Nadine and reach a professional understanding as we continue our journey towards the Tusk.
My priority's the Tusk, not Sam Drake. And certainly not you.
We enter inside the Nandi statue, and this for me is one of the best moments in this game as we save an elephant and ride it. It is a very serene and calm moment where we just ride and feed mangoes to this beautiful animal, and this I feel was very necessary for the character development. We also got to know more about Chloe's past in this section. This elephant takes us to this herd of elephants, and again, just look at this.
Wow!
After some more traversing, we finally made it to the hidden city of Belor. I mean, it won't be an Uncharted game without a hidden city. And man, is this beautiful. The level design, the stonework to the structures, the temple-like establishments, the waterfalls in between. It looks holy, and this cool lighting is elevated by the sun rays that are bleeding through. This is Naughty Dog through and through at their absolute best. I also like how we kind of stumbled upon this city. It is not over-dramatized like Shambhala or Iram of the Pillars. This city is also home to some long enemy encounters with impressive direction and again, amazing level design, and how it just wants you to keep moving as you take down these enemies. After this encounter, we traverse and climb this beautiful city and reach this altar of sorts with a large rendition of the Tusk. And what immediately stands out here is the missing Ganesh figurine on top of it. And we learn that Chloe's father was in the hunt for this Tusk and was killed by the bandits. And this figurine is the only remembrance of him to Chloe, which she fittingly referred to as her stress toy previously. This is amazing symbolism that was beautifully reflected in the writing. I felt for Chloe in this scene. The story revealed the emotional innards of her, breaking open the witty shell. As a result, she's under a kind of duty to get this treasure at any cost.
I can't let Asav get that tusk.
After some more traversing, we saw the bond softening and strengthening between Nadine and Chloe. And this feels natural. Something I didn't feel before, but now I do.
I head back in the game and I'll... Hey! Nadine Ross! Oh my god! What the hell?
Your head back in the game now?
Oh, smarter!
We eventually make it to another humongous statue, this time of Shiva, and I'll let Chloe say it for me.
You know, at this point, I've run out of words.
We climb up this statue part by part, completing its mechanism, and it is so satisfying, both to play and watch. Our objective here is to activate the mechanism by supplying water to a well in front of Shiva. Very simple explorational puzzle that eventually activates another similar prism puzzle. I like this. I like when the puzzles are not hurting your brain and you don't have to open a journal every once in a while. So we complete those and Asav attacks right after, just like he does to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
It's time for a reunion.
Asav eventually captures us and we meet up with Sam Drake as well. I don't like the inclusion of Sam in this game, which I will explain a little later, but I love the quarrel between Nadine and Sam. This is a nice throwback to Uncharted 4.
I guess I'm just a little bit irked that we are walking away with nothing. But I guess you know what that's like, right?
Oh my...
This is a very puzzle-heavy chapter, and to emphasize that, we complete two more fun puzzles being captured. One is a dial puzzle signifying the fight between Parashurama and Ganesh, and another is the statue puzzle, which upon completing, we had our first look at the Tusk of Ganesh, and of course, Asav took it for himself, leaving us to drown. Being underwater, Chloe picklogs the trio's cuffs, and we make another very narrow escape. What follows is another long traversal sequence on our journey to the rail yard following Asav. This felt like excess fat to me, even for such a short game, as we do these inhuman things like climbing, grappling, jumping, and of course sliding, and I mean a lot of sliding.
Oh, come on! Whoa! Oh god, oh god, oh god, shit!
Let's talk about Sam here a little. What they tried here is represent Sam as this goofy and weird, comical relief similar to Sully.
That was close. You in one piece?
Yeah. Go team!
And it doesn't work. It feels far cry to the character we saw in Uncharted 4. As much as I enjoy the quarrel that takes place between Sam and Nadine, he felt unsufferable at times, and I think he is a bad addition here.
What just happened?
We then make it to the rail yard and learn that Asav is actually selling the golden tusk to Nadine's old mercenary group called Shoreline. What follows is another big encounter against them as we climb our way to the helicopter. Again, an exhilarating set piece, and I don't know how Naughty Dog pulls this off. We take it down and steal the tusk from Nadine's old lieutenant, Orca. This is where we find out the real motivation of Asav's obsession with the tusk.
Asav traded the tusk for a bomb.
Asav buys a nuclear bomb in return for the tusk so that he can bomb the Indian city to commence a civil war which will eliminate the bloodline of the young king, allowing the old king's rules to return. Here, the game displays the transformation and development of Chloe's character in this game. She goes after Asav to save the lives of her people, even though she has possession of the tusk.
The authorities
This
and...
isn't our fight. It's my fight.
Sam and Nadine join as we go towards the moving train where the bomb is, in a final showdown against Asav. This is of course a depiction of the two best set pieces in this franchise. One is Uncharted 2's train and another is Uncharted 4's Madagascar car chase. They have mixed it both together as we make our way to the bomb through this moving train, jumping to jeep at times, taking down enemies. It is insanity and you can't believe you have control of it. Even though I felt this sequence went on for too long, but it was still a blast to play through and easily one of the best set pieces in the franchise. We then make it to the engine to the bomb.
It's way bigger in person.
And we can't disarm it. And the only way to save the people in the city is to change its tracks away from it. Hence, Chloe jumps off the train to make it to the switch house to buy some time. After switching the tracks, we drive our way back to the train. Look at this lighting, by the way.
Wow!
The sun is coming down and looking pretty doing it. We then ram our jeep right in the middle of the train. Again, I don't know how Naughty Dog pulls this off so seamlessly. What follows is this boss fight between Asav and Nadine and Chloe, and again, I don't even want to talk about this. Why does this franchise need boss fights? I'll never know. It reaches a point where we corner Asav after some casualties, of course.
Gotta get out! Oh no! Oh no, no, no!
And we leave him with the bomb. This long set piece ends with the classic Uncharted chase towards the camera as the train falls off the track. Eventually, the bomb explodes. The trio enjoys a moment of calm, and this incredible game comes to an end with this breathtaking shot of the city as it cuts to black. There we go, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. As I said at the beginning of this video, this is the Uncharted game I go back to whenever I want some Uncharted in my life. The reason being its short size, incredible gameplay, stunning and relatable locations, great puzzles, not to mention the insane set piece to end. It is not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination, specifically on the characters front, because I think other than Chloe, who is undoubtedly the star of this game, other characters didn't get the deep dive that they deserve. Nadine, for example, I don't know anything more about Nadine that I didn't know before this game, but it is still a great story worth experiencing and one of the standouts in this franchise with no bad games. Thank you for watching. I work really hard on these videos, so I'll really appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel. Do check out my 2025 retrospective on the Uncharted series and do let me know if you enjoyed this format of videos. That's it from me today. Rax Plays, signing off.
Oh, what? Nothing to say now?
Oh, if you like, I can tell you where to stick it.